Hello everyone, this is Charles Folkart on March 27, 2017. I welcome all of you, especially those of you who have subscribed, and any new subscribers, I would encourage you to subscribe. This video is a follow-up on the video I did on March the 2nd, where I sent the state representatives for Montana, the ones that were concerned or on the committee for the health and the natural resources or the environment. Also sent it to Senator Daines and Senator Tester. Now, Senator Tester's gotten 2 emails from me regarding the geoengineering over Montana. And if you've watched the previous video, you know that he came back and told me, not to worry, Charles, those are contrails. Well, they're not contrails, Mr. Tester. And we'll get into that in a moment, but I wanted to give you some more background here. We're going to go to a video in Shasta County, California. I used to live near there. And this is a video about a public meeting. And I'm going to just take a couple of inserts out of there, excerpts, so that you can see what we are discussing here. This is very important. They're spraying dangerous chemicals in our air, and we're breathing them in, and they're getting them into the brain. Those nanoparticles, barium, and especially aluminum, it's getting inside of our sinus, and I don't have all the scientific names for all this stuff, and it's getting into our brain, and I'm going to let the other people speak, and they'll explain why this is so important.
Process, it releases all that oxygen and dramatically increases efficiency, but it leaves the aluminum in the air.
We got things coming from sky down, and it's a huge, huge problem, because as it comes down, what happens is a couple of things. Is that it actually is in our air, we breathe it. And as we breathe it, it's actually going to go up to our nostrils, into our brain, easiest access to our brain frontal lobe. The contaminants that have been identified, which already been mentioned, are aluminum. Aluminum is the #1 free radical generator to the brain to cause early apoptosis, which is early death of brain, and it begins to set off the scar tissue, which we call the amygdalin, which is part of the chemical matrix related to Alzheimer's.
I'm a neurologist practicing in Reading for 17 years, and in the past 5 years, I have seen the number of patients with Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, and other neurodegenerative diseases tremendously increased, almost quadruple.
I became interested in chemtrails about 8 years ago when I was in Hawaii, and the Hawaiians are really being very vocal about it. I concur about the increasing number of Alzheimer's. They have been able to take the aluminum and micronize it, which means it'll stay up longer. But it also means, and I don't know if any of you have noticed a metallic taste in your mouth when they're spraying, but you inhale that, it goes up through your cribriform plate and through your sinuses and into the brain.
As you heard, to spray nanoparticles, very small particles. These nanoparticles, they basically trigger a programmed cell death in the brain, and that is the ultimate path we see in Alzheimer's.
That's problem #1, because when we look at the Alzheimer issue, we say those are the old. The real problem is, and the real scare I have, is as I am a father of 2, I'm a grandfather of 3, so the drama is our children. ADD started in the 70s. Autism was not on the radar. There was no documents, there was no information. It was 1 in 100,000 children. Today, what we have is 1 in 48 boys. I was part of the early group that was looking for aluminum in ADD and ADHD. And all of those children that started to develop those phenomena had high levels of aluminum. When we figured out protocols to detox them out, to free the body of those particular contaminants, what happened is that their brains came back. When we do this to the age, it doesn't come back as quick, but it will come back. But I'm seeing Alzheimer's in 56 years old. Back in the 70s, Alzheimer's when you were 80.
If you remember 8 to 10 years ago, there was this big move to get rid of aluminum from underarm deodorant, is what causes Alzheimer's. Look what they're doing to us now.
I want to give you a little.
So here we are at the video I made on March the 2nd, you can see here, and I sent it to Tester, Mr. Daines, several state Montana state representatives, and the senior editor of the Flathead Beacon, a young fellow. You think he'd be interested. Well, I purposely waited 3 full weeks. They've had this email with the PDF and the photos. Mr. Tester, as I said, has gotten 2 contacts from me. And what do you think the response has been, folks? I haven't heard a word. Not a single one of those people that are supposed to be representing our interests in the state of Montana took the time or the concern. They didn't have enough courtesy to say, hey, Charles, thank you for the information. I'll look into it. I got no response whatsoever. And last night, I was listening to Merle Haggard, and I'm going to bring you there right now. I'm not going to play this because I've got a couple inserts that I can insert, and hopefully I won't get a copyright strike. And I'm going to insert it here. But you might want to come back and listen to what Merle Haggard had to say. And there's another one over here on the side. I'm going to open this up so you can see it too. So this song is What I Hate, and he talks about chemtrails here, and he talks about roadblocks, and he talks about people don't seem to care, and that's where we are. And he had the courage to speak up. And I've never listened to Merle Haggard. I've never been a country western singer type of guy. But when I listened to these last night, boy, they hit home. And here's another one over here. I'm so tired of it all. And I could be singing that song if I only knew how to play the guitar and sing. But I tell you, folks,
what I hate is most folks don't seem to care at all.
people don't seem to care, and a lot of us older men, especially the men, we're getting hammered in this country, and some of you young men better step up to the plate, or your men are going to be slaves, because we're already slaves now, and your children and your family, if they're alive. Watch the video, Autism, that video in Shasta. I don't know if I played it, I can't even remember. I've watched it several times, but the younger children are getting autism and ADHD, and us older men are getting Alzheimer's and dementia and other illnesses that we shouldn't be getting. And I'm concerned about this because my father, when he died, he had Alzheimer's and a host of other illnesses. And I don't want that to happen to myself, and I certainly don't want this to happen to any of my family. So, and what really bothers me, and if I'm going to play this here in a minute from Merle Haggard, is that most people don't seem to care.
What I hate is most folks don't seem to care at all.
Most people don't seem to care.
What I hate is looking up and seeing chemtrails in a clear blue sky today.
And I just can't believe it. I mean, I love being alive and healthy and to enjoy nature and God's creation. And I don't want to get sick. But most people, look at the young fellow from Flathead Beacon. Not a word. Hey, Charles, thanks for the heads up. I'm going to look into it. And if there's a problem there, and if what you're saying is true, it'll be in the Flathead Beacon. I'm keeping track. I'm going to keep my eye on the Flathead Beacon, and it's all fluffy stuff they put in here. You know, it's all there's some controversial stuff, but it's accepted. The super fund up in Libby and other, but important topics that are controversial, not going to be in the Flathead Beacon. So I want to thank you for watching. I would encourage you to embrace the love of the truth. And may the grace of God, the Creator, may His grace be upon us all, for we certainly need it. See you.
What I hate is most folks don't seem to care.